Hi everybody and welcome to the August Q&A video. I'm Andrew and thank you all for submitting your questions throughout the month of August. I've been looking forward to this video, I really have. And out of the entire month, I have a whopping 8 questions. Yeah, either way, it's still gonna be fun. And I'm looking forward to this, I always do. And don't forget, every month you can submit your questions via the comment sections of my videos, or on my Twitter page, @OTakeYourRoads, or on the Web Designer 18 Facebook page. Any of those places you can gladly submit your questions for that month's Q&A. So it's always fun to do that. I think I'll start getting into the habit of putting up, hey, Q&A questions for the month. Feel free to put them in. Here's the cutoff date. I think I'll start doing that. But either way, thank you to the ones who did submit questions. I am looking forward to answering them, so let's get started. Okay, so the first question I have is, which evolved monster would you be? Goliath, Kraken, Wraith, it's just a Wraith, Behemoth, or Gorgon? Behemoth. I actually looked it up to get an idea because I never heard of evolved before. So yeah, I do a little bit of research. Like if it's a question that I've either never heard of before, I'll check it up online, or something else. And I usually go through my questions to make sure I don't have like duplicates, and I'm not having the same question asked 16 times or something. So, but out of all of them, I would go with the Behemoth, the ginormous juggernaut. Yeah, that's pretty much me. If I'm not fast enough to catch anything, I have no good speed, but what I make up for in speed, I make up for in strength. So yeah, I'm definitely the Behemoth. Without a doubt, I am the Behemoth. So that's that. Okay, and that's okay. So everything's still going cool. All right. Yeah, I'm having issues with my laptop tonight, so I apologize. But yeah, I'm definitely the Behemoth. Big, massive, muscular, hulking, just this gigantic bash. If I can't catch you with my speed because I am slow as a freaking turtle, I make up for it by just bashing the crap out of stuff. I'm definitely Behemoth, definitely. If someone created a video game based on yourself, what would it be like? How would you enjoy it? And ideas for bosses in that game. Okay, somebody created a video game based on me. Wow. I guess it would almost be like an RPG, I would say. Picking up like helpful items along the way, like there'd be like Dr. Pepper bottles that would replenish health, like magazines or something to help increase like knowledge, wisdom. There'd be like different stat bars. I'm trying to think of a game that I can describe it as. I can't. It's funny that I have one and I can't think of it. Think of it like a game where you can change up the different stats of your character, like strength, agility, intelligence, dexterity, stuff like that, and just have it be those skill sets per character. And what it basically is you're playing as me, and since it be an RPG, it pretty much be like a fantasy world that's mixing with reality. Like, let's say I would all of a sudden get transported into an alternate world where everything that I know is out to get me. So of course I'm teaming up with things from my imagination, and like Earthbound in a way. Think of it like that, but with a better character system. So you pick up like items along the way that you can use to replenish your HP, your energy, items that can increase stats, stuff like that. Going on so forth till you reach the end where you're taking on like each boss of like a section. So like one section would be getting started, and the boss would be like I don't know, like a door or something, or a chair or some furniture or something, and that's like the first boss. And the next boss is like something like some horrible memory or something of mine, so on and so forth ad infinitum. Just like over dramatized in a way. I'd probably enjoy it though. If I was actually made into a video game, that'd be pretty cool. But it would pretty much depend on, I mean, if somebody else made it, what they would want to do it as. Because I know the Angry Video Game Nerd has a whole bunch of games that were made of him, and a majority of them he actually did a review video on, and they're pretty cool. So there is that. But all in all, I would definitely probably enjoy it. It would either be both enjoyable for me to play them and fun to see what other people could design, how they interpret my life, to see what their interpretation is based upon reality, would be kind of cool. So yeah. Ideas for bosses in that game. I guess you could have stuff that annoys me, terrifies me. I guess like a recurring boss for a couple stages, like a minute mini boss or something, could be like a television with the 3 networks that I've constantly complained about in my Andrew Rants videos, like Cartoon Network, Nickelodeon, and Disney. And you could have them have it be like the TV, and each one of them's like a certain move that they'll do. Like the Cartoon Network one would shoot out like a Teen Titans Go sort of aura, trying to paralyze, my characters. Or you'd have Nickelodeon shooting out bubbles from like SpongeBob or something, and Disney would just be doing something weird. But like something like that would be like an idea for like a mini boss. But main boss would just be like events in my life, like, oh look, here's your like high school graduation, which I honestly didn't enjoy. It was dull as dirt, but I didn't enjoy it. But it could be like, here's your cap and gown, and it's trying to get you and stop you, and each hurdle just like beats like a certain section, and you gain like wisdom, strength, or courage, and that as experience on top of leveling up. So that'd be something pretty cool. But yeah, definitely like an RPG. I would enjoy it. But bosses, though, I would say like stuff that annoys me, bugs me, terrifies the crap out of me, stuff like that. So yeah. I watched your discussion video on YouTube. Could you explain the ways in which creators on here do make money? I can try. And keep in mind, I'm not an expert at this because I make zilch here. But sponsorships are a majority of the way that they make money. Now, they do monetize their own channels once you reach, it's 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours within a 12-month period. I'm never hitting that, so I don't got to worry about that. I think I have like 10,000 minutes that I think have been watched. But yeah, I don't have the hours, and I sure as hell don't have the subscribers. I just got over 100 like a couple months ago, so I'm like a tenth of the way there for 1,000. But as far as watch time goes, I'm never getting that amount. But monetization does get them some money. It's just not a tremendous amount. What a majority of the higher up YouTubers do to make some money on here, they have other ways of doing it that they integrate into their videos. And I'll use a couple examples that I know of. DIY Perks usually has like some sponsored video content where this video is sponsored by insert name here. And they cut like a percentage to him then for however many clicks they get onto their site. Odin Abbott's another one. He does like a lot of app-based games that he'll go, today's sponsor is insert here. And he goes, if you click the link in the description and you use this, you'll start off with this, this, and this. But because they're getting downloads from that and it's drawing people to them that might buy something, at least for the freemium games, they could become a paid, player, then they kick him some money for doing that. And that adds up over time. But those two alone are not the only ways to do this. There's also Patreon. And what a majority of them do is they have a Patreon page. And what Patreon is basically you sign up for the page and you can post your content on there first and then put it onto another site, which a lot of them do. I know Bennett the Sage over at Anime Abandoned does it. I know that Pat the NES Punk for the podcast has a Patreon page because Ian does like a weekly thing on there, so on and so forth. And what that is basically patrons will pay you X amount of money depending upon what they have set up. So the way I always understood it, and I did try it once for something, but it never panned out, so I just got rid of the account then, is basically what'll happen is you sign up for the Patreon page. You create it, and then you charge people that want to be your patron. So like, let's say let's say hypothetically I started up another one and I did Patreon for this channel. And what I did was like, okay, so people can like submit ideas and they get top priority. That's like a reward for your donation or your patronage each month. Think of it like a gigantic PBS telethon. But instead of me begging for money every other month, you're just giving it to me based upon what I've already done and future projects. And it's based also upon either per month or per content. So if I were to like create 100 videos and put out 100 videos in a month, then I would get, like, let's say I charge $1 per video that was put onto my channel. Every video that would be put on would be $1. And that's $1 that you, the patrons, would have to pay. That's how that works. Now, there are also other ones that you can pay by the month and just go, okay, this is how much I'm going to give you a month. And that's usually what a majority of them do. And I think that's the way it kind of went now. But don't quote me on it because I haven't touched Patreon in months / almost a good year and a half because I got rid of the account that I even had on it. I want nothing to do with it because it seems more crooked than anything, and it's more confusing than anything because I have read so many reports about problems and issues galore. But that's basically what a majority of it is. It's, look, here's what we do, here's what I do. You're basically being a patron in the way, and you're giving me money to continue what I do, and you're reaping the benefits of getting like a, oh look, you'll get it first before I put it up on YouTube, or you'll get top access to like whatever you want me to review, I'll review it first. Whatever you want me to talk about, I'll talk about it first before I do anything else. I guess a better way of putting it is, think of that Fast Pass thing that Disney has, that little band that you can just hit against the ride thing and it bumps you to the front of the line. That's pretty much it. Only in this case, you're paying like by the month or by the content for it, and that's pretty much what it is. That's what a majority of YouTubers do on here because that's the way that they make money. So it's like Patreon, that's how they're getting their funds because like, oh look, then they can just take the money out and that pays their bills and everything, and they're still making their content. So it's kind of a one hand washes the other in a way. The final way that I know of besides sponsorships, sponsored content, or Patreon is they strike up a deal or they buy something and then they literally are reselling it again. So like, I really hate the traffic on my street lately. Sorry about that. Basically what it is that, and I'll use Electronic Fix here as an example. He buys a tremendous amount of like busted electronics or busted stuff, fixes it, and then resells it. And whatever he can get for that is basically his profit. But then on top of that, he also has a deal struck with Amazon that, you're like, oh look, here's a link to the, here's a link to what I had to use in my video to fix this. And if you want to get these same parts to fix something that has the same issue, you can gladly go to Amazon and get it here, and then I get X amount. He's even admitted it. So there are multiple ways that people make money. So as far as just solely off of YouTube, it doesn't work that way. But what they do is they get like sponsorship deals, they get Patreon, and those are like the two biggest basically for them. They just like cut a deal with other things like that, paid content, stuff like that. The ad revenue is just like a drop in the bucket to them, but Patreon and stuff like that does pay more of the bills for them. That's where they get a majority of their content. So yeah, that's about the best way I could explain how they actually make money on here. Do I ever see myself making a cent off of this? Probably not. Don't get me wrong, I wouldn't mind it if I could. I would actually love that, but as far as me making anything off of YouTube, that's never going to happen. At least not in the foreseeable future. I don't even see it like in the next 10 years. And probably by that point, I'll either be too old to be doing the same work because I'm 30 now. So when I hit 40, I'll probably be, look, I can't do YouTube anymore. Or YouTube just won't exist anymore. They'll dissolve themselves into nothing or something. So I don't know. But that's basically how the YouTubers that are here make their money, to the best of my knowledge. All right, you're obviously a fan of anime. What one series do you despise over all the rest? I don't even have to say the name because this was a birthday present from my one friend, and it got a little dented up, but that was more my fault than hers. But this right here, Fruits Basket, is the series that I cannot stand with a passion. There are some that get just slightly below it, but that is the one that takes the cake. I don't like it. I've never been a fan of it. I have watched a few episodes of it, and I could not get into it. And before somebody goes, oh, you jumped like episode 6 or 7. No, I was at episode 1. I think I made it to episode 3 when I just threw my hands up in the air and said, nuts to this, I'm done. So there is that. And I apologize. I'm trying to get my ear to pop. That's been bugging me all week. So if you see me do that, I'm trying to get my ear to pop. But basically, that's the anime I cannot stand with a passion. It is the one anime I hate the most over anything else. I will take Dragon Ball GT over that. I will take, what's another one that I can't stand? Paranoia Agent. I'll watch Death Note over that. I'll watch Hamtaro over that, if that gives you any indication here. So that just tells you I can't stand that series. It's not one that I like. Are you planning on doing a complete thoughts or discussion video on the Pokemon Sword and Shield drama? No. I cannot stress enough how dull as dirt done I am with the Pokemon drama at this point. For those of you that don't know what's happened, the newest it is Sword Shield. I was thinking Sun. The newest Pokemon games that are coming out in November, Pokemon Sword and Pokemon Shield, will not be having the national decks. They're adding so much new stuff into this. There's Dynamax. I've read somewhere now about Gigantamax, or the possibility to get Gigantamax. There's like newer areas that you can get, a whole bunch of other stuff. And it's all compiling upon one massive thing of, we don't have enough room and enough time and effort to put all 800 some Pokemon into a game anymore. And that was their basic, it's not going to happen anymore. You knew it was going to happen. And it's coming right on the heels of Pokemon Home got announced, where everything gets put into that and then transferred into Sword and Shield, which you could only do whatever's in the Galar Pokedex. So fans were immediately getting pissed about it. I even said this in the one podcast episode that I guarantee you someone day one's going to buy that game, take it home, and take it down to the source code, and they're going to find that, oh look, there is data in here for all the Pokemon. They're claiming that it's all brand new models, but that's been debunked already on Twitter. They're claiming that they're not rehashing stuff from the 3DS, but yet it's been debunked that they kind of are. It's a whole mess. If I want to give my complete thoughts and discussion on it, I would go crazy. I get sick and tired of it. Sword and Shield is probably going to be the start of the decline of the Pokemon franchise, because at this point, even the anime is pretty much giving up. We recently had, I think it was like a couple weeks ago, where Ash almost lost in, I think it was like the second round, like the first or second round of the Alola Pokemon League, the newly established Alola Pokemon League. But he didn't lose because the island, I guess it's like the Island Chieftain or whatever the hell the guy's name is, or whatever his title is even, the grandfather of, ironically, his opponent told the referee, oh, no, this match isn't done. Ash's Pokemon's just asleep. But yet, earlier in the Pokemon franchise, Charizard took a nap in the freaking Indigo League and Ash lost. So that was bullshit. That was a MacGuffin for, look, we're going to have Ash win the league. Everybody's finally going to be happy. We can just move on with our lives. And I think that's... Fans aren't happy with Sun and Moon. And Sword and Shield, I'm worried is going to go the same route. So as far as the whole Pokemon Sword and Shield drama goes, I am not planning on doing a discussion video or a thoughts video on it. If I would want to do that, it'll be my decision at the last minute. But as of now, it's not happening. If it does, it'll be a miracle. Or I'll just go, okay, there's enough information here. I want to give my 2 cents. Otherwise, not going to happen. Favorite book or comic strip series from my childhood. I always loved Garfield and Dilbert, the comic strips. Book-wise, I never read that much when I was growing up. I'm an auditory learner. I actually ended up having an individual education program in school, or an IEP for short. I have a hard time comprehending what I read. So I'm basically an auditory learner. I learn by seeing and doing more so than I do by reading stuff. I guess a prime example of that would be, I could watch a video on YouTube that explains how to set up this and this, and I'll remember that more so than I will if I'm just reading it off of an article. That's basically what it is. I'm an auditory learner. I learn by seeing and doing more so than by reading. So I don't comprehend what I read. So it's not that I don't understand it. It just doesn't sink in and stay, basically. So that's that. So as far as books go, I never actually read a whole lot when I was growing up, but I did read a couple books. So one of them would be Captain Underpants, was one of my favorites because it was simple to follow along with the plot. It was simple to read it, and I always liked it. I thought it was kind of funny. Garfield's Pet Force was another one that I liked. And I actually did remember when I was in high school, I read the Bionicle books, or at least some of the Bionicle books. So there is that. But either way, not bad. But yeah, Bionicle is actually a series I think I should do a review on. But either way, yeah. I didn't really read that much growing up, but out of the books that I did read, Captain Underpants, Garfield's Pet Force, and when I was in high school, Bionicle. So that's about it. Comic strip-wise, Garfield and Dilbert were my all-time favorites. I always loved them. I thought they were just funny. I never got Dilbert until I got older, but Garfield I always liked. I always just thought that was hilarious. Would you rather date an elf or a fairy? Be a human-sized type of fairy. Boy, am I glad Pixie's on vacation yet, because she'd be hitting me upside the head if I would answer this wrong. If we're going by the same logic that all the movies and stuff have told me, elves live for X amount of years. They could live like thousands of years if done correctly, depending upon what lore you believe. Fairies, I'm not sure how their metabolic system works. So it's mostly just a matter of which one would I rather, if the relationship goes bad, if I date like an elf or a fairy and the relationship goes bad, for me, I'll forget about it long before they will, because they'll live for longer time. But if I had to pick, I would probably go with a fairy. Elves are cool. I'm not going to lie about that. But at the same time, I doubt highly I could learn their language to fully understand them. Whereas fairies, to the best of my knowledge, don't have a set language, so to speak, that you'd have to understand, but elves do. It's elvish, and I doubt highly I could learn that. And believe me, I like cryptology. I like learning like symbols and that, but I doubt highly I could learn elvish to save my ass. So I would definitely go with a fairy. And plus, fairies are usually a little more fun because they're more free-spirited. Elves get a little more rooted to, like, this is our way of life, this is how we live, and so on and so forth. But then again, this is all based off of what information I have on both these creatures. So my information may not be the world's greatest. So there is that. But out of the two, I'll go with a fairy over an elf. What is the weirdest dream or dreams that I've ever had so far? Ooh. Mutant mudmen that can only be taken down by fire. Definitely tops my list. I had this dream when I was a kid. Basically what it was is there was like a bunch of mutant mudmen. And the only way they could be taken down was by fire. So like in the dream, there's like a small like little flamethrower that you're using to take down the mudmen. It just dries them out and they crumble. That was the weirdest dream I had. That's pretty much the weirdest dream I've ever had. Otherwise, it's just a matter of preference. I've had some weird dreams that could be related to stress that I've had or current events. And dreams for a lot of people are possible futures. Like, okay, you're sleeping, you're dreaming about something that could possibly take place, but it may not. But aside from the Mutant Mudmen one, I've only ever had like one other weird dream, and that was me and somebody else. I had no idea who it was, never saw their face. We're like secret agents or something. We're on a train going through a tunnel, then we're jumping off the train, flying through the air like a glider, landing in the middle of a city, running into this building, and the building's getting like destroyed or something, and we're escaping the building, and then all of a sudden we're in the middle of a city street, and the whole time I'm saying something to the other person, going, check your lottery ticket, and that is like the stupidest, that's the stupidest dream I've ever had. The weirdest is the Mutant Mudmen, but that's definitely the stupidest one I've ever had, is that one. But otherwise, the majority of my dreams that I have, if I do manage to get to sleep, which isn't that often, I do have, like, I'm the type of person that I could take a cat nap and I'm fully energized. So, yeah, it's a weird, I didn't sleep that much when I was growing up. It drove my mom nuts. But, when I do sleep and I do dream, it's usually based upon, like, whatever's currently happening, stress, current events, stuff like that that are happening to me that might be panning out into a possible future or just one possible scenario that could be happening. So, but Mutant Mudmen is the weirdest, and Secret Agent Lotto Man, as I'm going to call it, is the stupidest that I've ever had. But yeah, that's about it. And speaking of it, that's it for the questions. So, yeah. That's it for the questions this month. Wow. That was a lot of fun, though. So like I said, thank you so much again for submitting your questions. Let's check out when we want to do September's here. Because I know September starts on a Sunday this year. Because we're going to have a Friday the 13th in September. Oh, joy. I hate Friday the 13th. Okay. Know when we're going to do it right off the bat. So this is what I'm going to shoot for it. So, next Q&A, please have all your questions in by the 28th of September. So basically, you literally have an entire month to get all your questions into me, basically. Because this is going up on, today's Thursday when I'm putting this up. So, okay, you have about a month to put it up. 12 p.m. or 12 a.m. Eastern Time, 29th is the cutoff. That's it. But please have all your questions in by Saturday, the 28th. So there is that. Anything else? Nope. Yeah, that's about all I got this time around for this one. So, yeah, thank you all so much for joining me on this Q&A. And until next time, I've been Andrew. This has been Web Designer 18 channel, and catch you later. Bye.